All right, let's dive right in. We're talking about dietary supplements today. You know, that huge industry with bottles and powders that are in practically everyone's cabinet. But how do you know what's what? Let's figure out how to be a much smarter consumer.
I mean, you walk into any health store, and it's just a wall of options, right? It can be totally overwhelming. You've got powders, pills, herbs. Where do you even begin? And the big questions are always, what actually works? And maybe more importantly, what's actually safe?
And this isn't just for bodybuilders or super athletes. Get this, nearly a quarter, a full 25% of US adults who are taking prescription medication are also taking a dietary supplement. That is a massive overlap, which means the potential for things to interact is huge. So yeah, this is a conversation for just about everyone.
Okay, to really get a handle on supplements, you first have to understand how they're regulated, or more accurately, how they're not. It's probably not what you think, and honestly, it's a bit of a regulatory Wild West out there.
Now this slide right here, this is the whole ball game. For medications, companies have to prove they are safe and effective before a single pill is sold. But for supplements, it's the complete opposite. They're just assumed to be safe, and the FDA usually only steps in after people start reporting problems. The burden of proof is totally flipped on its head.
So what are we even talking about when we say supplement? Well, the official definition is pretty broad. It's basically any product you take by mouth that has a dietary ingredient. That means everything from your daily multivitamin to fish oil, herbal remedies, and yep, the protein powder you might use after a workout.
All right, let's make this real. To see how this all plays out, we're going to look at 3 completely different case studies. We've got one that really works, one that can be pretty risky, and one that, well, it just might surprise you.
First up, creatine. If there was ever a poster child for a supplement that's been studied to death and actually does what it says it does, this is it. It's probably one of the most researched performance ingredients on the entire market.
So what's the deal with it? Well, the science is pretty clear. Creatine helps give your muscles a quick burst of energy. In the real world, that means more strength for things like bench presses, more power for jump squats or cycling, and better performance if you're doing short sprints. It's really tailor-made for those high-intensity stop-and-start kinds of exercises.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. The International Society of Sports Nutrition flat out calls it the most effective supplement you can get for that specific kind of performance boost. That's a huge endorsement, and it's backed by a mountain of research.
Okay, so creatine is a best-case scenario. But what happens when a popular all-natural supplement starts messing with your actual medications in a serious way?
Let's talk about our second case, St. John's wort. This is so important to understand. It can literally make your body break down other drugs faster, which makes them way less effective. And we're talking about critical medicines here. Birth control pills, antidepressants, heart medications, even anti-HIV and transplant drugs. This is no joke.
And for our last case, we're going to tackle a belief that millions and millions of people share. There's a supplement many of us take every single day, thinking it's great for our hearts. But what happens when a massive scientific review takes a hard look at that belief?
And here it is, the bombshell. A huge Cochrane review, and you need to know Cochrane reviews are kind of the gold standard in medical evidence, found that taking omega-3 supplements does little to nothing to reduce your risk of heart disease, stroke, or death.
And we're not talking about a small study here. This review pulled together data from 79 different trials with over 112,000 people. The takeaway was pretty blunt. For most of us, those fish oil capsules probably aren't delivering the heart protective benefits we thought they were.
So these examples just go to show how critical it is to get a grip on these potential interactions. Let's break down what's actually happening in your body and which supplements you really need to be careful with. So a drug interaction sounds complicated, but it's pretty simple. It's when a supplement changes the amount of a medication that's floating around in your blood. It can make the drug weaker, like we saw with St. John's wort, or sometimes it can make it way too strong, which can be just as dangerous. Think of this as your quick glance cheat sheet. On the left, you've got the heavy hitters, things like St. John's wort and golden seal that are well known for causing problems. On the right, you have some herbs that are generally less of a concern, though nothing is ever completely risk-free. And if you remember one thing about safety from this whole explainer, let it be this. Natural does not mean safe. I'll say it again. Natural is not a synonym for safe. Just because it grew out of the ground doesn't mean it can't hurt you. Some botanicals, like kava, are known to cause serious liver damage.
Okay, so you've thought about the risks, you've weighed the benefits. If you still decide you want to take something,
how can you have any confidence that what's inside the bottle is what's on the label? Let's talk quality control.
So the absolute baseline for quality is something called Good Manufacturing Practices, or GMPs. These are the FDA's rules for the industry to make sure products are made correctly and aren't contaminated. Think of it as the bare minimum standard. If you want to go a step further, keep an eye out for these seals from third-party groups like USP or NSF. They actually test products to check if they have what the label says they have. But, and this is a really big but, remember what these seals don't do. They don't guarantee that a product is effective or that it's safe for you personally. They just verify what's in the bottle.
We have covered a ton of ground. So let's pull all of this together into one simple, practical checklist you can use before you ever decide to take a new supplement.
It's 4 simple questions. 1. What are the actual benefits for me specifically? 2. What are the safety risks? Could it interact with anything I'm already taking? 3. What's the right dose? And then, number 4, the most important step by a mile, talk with your doctor or your pharmacist. They are the only people who can give you advice that's truly personalized to you and your health.
Because look, at the end of the day, the goal here isn't to get you to take more supplements. It's to help you be more informed, to be an empowered consumer who makes smart choices. So I'll leave you with a question to think about. What's in your cabinet? And now, what do you think about it?